Well, hello, friends and fam. Welcome to another ISI Fit testimonial. Today, we're going to be talking to Tom and his wife Susan, and just the impact that Iron Sharpens Iron has had on Tom's health, and just the great news that he has to share. So, Tom, tell us, well, who are you, and how did we meet? Let's start there.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. So I am on staff with the Navigators. I've been in pastoral ministry for a number of years before that. And so we met last June at Coach Camp, and we happened to be sitting right next to each other, and just struck up a conversation about fitness and nutrition. And I barraged Mikhail particularly with a number of questions, but you as well. And then we continued the conversation after church camp, and then we've been meeting since then.
Mm. Awesome. So I know we started together roughly, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks after Coach Camp. Since we've started, well, what were the issues that you had coming into, why you wanted to work with us?
Well, a lot of times when I think about health, my primary thought has been about weight. And so that's kind of been a driving factor. Although, like we said before the interview, kind of energy has been an issue. But a big factor that I've dealt with for the last 2 years or so has been struggles with lower back pain. So I've seen, osteopathic doctor, chiropractor, physical therapist, postural therapist, and I figured this was the next routine to go. So yeah.
Awesome. And what are some of the I guess, the wins that you've seen along the way? Because we've been walking together now for a while.
Yeah, it's been 6-9 months, probably something like that. One thing that strikes me, Chris, and this kind of surprised me, is I was off for 2 weeks just recently because of a tooth extraction and some family situation as well. And I had my first workout on Monday, and I was really surprised that it wasn't more difficult than it was.
Hmm.
And Susan and I were talking about that after. She said, I really think that well, I can actually let her speak to that. So maybe she can pick up at that point.
Yeah, well, I think he's been doing this for some time and been really faithful, to work out or stretch every single day. And so even though he missed a good part of the 2 weeks out, he still took a few times stretching. But I think the fact that he's, just been working so faithfully at it for so long, he didn't lose a whole lot of ground in those 2 weeks of having to be away from it.
That's awesome. That's a testament to your consistency over time. Susan, what are some of the things that you've seen in Tom, over this time that, as far as improvements or things you didn't see that were going to be improvements, but kind of surprises along the way?
Well, I would say a surprise is that he has stayed so consistent with it. And I think that's really a testimony to the two of you and how you have really continued to work with him consistently, and just continue to reach out all the time. And it's been a good partnership, I guess is what I would say. It's been a good fit for Tom. Another surprise is that as we, in recent months, as I came on board and we started talking about a much lower carbohydrate diet, and I think it was easier for Tom to begin to really think seriously about that with Michaela's input. And as he started to really implement that, things started really changing for him as to how he felt and his weight and whatnot. So that's been a really nice surprise.
Awesome. Well, that's a great segue into you. Go right ahead.
Tom, we've also had a lot of one-on-one nutrition coaching We went through the modules. We've been able to implement things just as what Susan had mentioned. What was it like going through the journey with me in the very beginning up to now so far?
I think a couple things come to mind. One is that, the information you provided was really helpful, kind of gave a lot of the background, a lot of the science to things, and really helped me understand. And, I've been through a number of programs before, but I think what struck me is the shift to the emphasis on the macronutrients, the carbs, the fats, and the protein, particularly the protein, and what a difference that makes in the whole process. And quite honestly, it's been a bit of a challenge and a journey in some sense in terms of both tracking, staying consistent on that, both consistent in terms of recording it, but also in terms of eating and stuff like that. But I mean, you've been so encouraging and so consistent in terms of reaching out and for the accountability part of things. That's been really good. But just again, really good information, good science, good background for why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, and I think that's really been helpful.
Yeah.
Susan, a little bit about our journey together, all three of us. What do you think, Tom? How has Tom been able to change or transform during this journey? You talked a little bit about the carbohydrates. Could you speak a little bit about how his energy is, his mindset during this whole time?
Yeah, when we started, Tom was tired all the time. He was tired when he got up. He was tired at night. He would take a nap in the afternoon, get up tired. I don't know. It's like he was tired all the time. And, I was already convinced that I thought that the carbs were a big part of it. Having not having too many carbs. And then our doctor, who's an integrative doctor, said to him, it was like an aha moment for him. And he said, I think the issue is you're getting too many carbohydrates. And I don't know if he used the word keto diet, but anyways, he said, I think you really need to go really low on those. And I think that, and then talking with you, and really upping the protein, you really started focusing on that, and on healthy fats and not worrying so much about the grams of fats, and making them healthy fats and lowering severely lower or really bringing down the carbohydrates. It just made a big change. Tom is not tired all the time now. He doesn't seem so logy or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. He just seems more, just more like himself. I don't know. It's been a good change, and I know he's got a ways to go, but it's been a very positive move in the right direction.
That's awesome.
Good. Praise God.
Yes. I love hearing that because, the idea is that we're getting better, as we go along here. And I know, we all have certain parts that we could optimize, and we're working on it. And I think Tom is well on his way. And, you've built up some great habits, and you got a great support system, Tom. And Susan's been a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just wanted to add one other thing we hadn't touched on, because you guys provide a variety of different supports, both in terms of the physical exercise, but also the nutrition. But I mentioned this on Saturday, is every week we have a time to check in. Now, oftentimes I or others may not take advantage of that, but honestly, that really is a big encouragement, I think. And it provides an extra level of support and accountability and encouragement. And even last Saturday, as we were sharing, we benefited from what each of us were sharing. That those of us that are participating in the program really could hear each other and affirm that. And it just, oh yeah, that's right. I think that remembering a lot of times is an important component. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tom, what would you tell somebody who is just like you on the fence about, working with us? What would you tell them?
That I think it's really important. Honestly, I have to say that I think every time I focused on health, um, it's been a struggle. It's not been my desire. It's not been my go-to. I've it, my it's I made the decision, but then my heart had to catch up with my head in some sense. And like now, it's just I can't say that I mean, like, I look forward every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to working out, but I sort of it's in my schedule, it's in my routine, and that was a big shift for me, is to become more consistent, just making sure I kind of blocked it into my schedule. And that's a lot of what we learn in terms of coaching, is kind of time blocking and prioritizing things that are important, and what we value, we give attention to. So yeah.
Yeah, especially that what he said there, what we value, we give attention to.
Mhm.
Yeah, big. Tom, what haven't we, shared that you would like to share about what we do, or your experience with us?
Um, the word I think that comes to mind is just holistic. And I think that's an important word, because it's not just physical training. It's not the physical part of it. It's not just the nutrition or the health or the weight loss, but it's a combined program where we're addressing both sides of the coin.
Mm.
And I don't think we can really effectively become healthy unless we're doing both of those pieces. And for years, I focused on, the eating part of it, and weight loss, that sort of thing, and kind of dismiss the physical part of it. But I think that's a big and important component. And I think particularly as we get older, I think, that's the strength, the stability, the aerobic are all key components to maintaining longevity of life, and as well as the nutrition. So all those components, just, the holistic approach to health and fitness is really important.
Another thing, really important thing, is the spiritual component,
Yeah,
because I'll never forget the earlier this year, Tom had a cancer scare, and the doctors were pretty sure that was what it was. And so Michaela and I talked, and the three of us talked, and Michaela and I talked, and she got right on building up his protein levels in case he was going to have to go through some kind of treatment. Thank God it ended up being just a scare and not being cancer. But Michaela just prayed with us several times. And Michaela, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a friend's daughter. Apologize, Michaela.
It's okay.
You prayed with us, and really focused on the fact that God was sovereign, he was in control, and that he was with us. And so, that was really a big part of the whole process for us.
What I love what God is doing is that this is not our tool. This is really his. Everything about Iron Sharpens Iron Fitness is his. And what I have seen as a witness is that God brings us to the people that he knows we need to help. And when that happens, there's always a God moment. I mean, I've seen it with everyone. There's always a God moment. But I am grateful for walking alongside you guys during this journey, because I've seen the hand of God move in your lives, far away, indirectly, but I've seen God's hand move in your marriage, in your family. I've seen it. And so I'm grateful that he's continuing to do that. And Tom, I don't know if he had mentioned, but I know that you guys met at coach camp, but Tom is a great life coach, and he has the humbleness, the humility to be coached as a coach. And because of that, the Lord is able to work through it all. I think the pliability that Tom has is also wonderful.
Yes.
So, and Susan's heart to just be there for her husband is wonderful.
Awesome. Well, would you like to close this out?
Sure.
Go ahead. What's our sign off?
First of all, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Susan, for taking the time out for us to do this video, this testimonial. But we always say this to Tom as well. He knows this, but at Iron Sharpens Iron, we love to say, make moves, not excuses.